Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at some advanced feature in prototyping using Figma. So if you look at this our design from the first screen, it translates to the home page here. So we are going to be covering a lot of topics like how to delete item from the cart, how to go back to any page, how to swipe between products, and how to add the same product to cart. So here, if we click on the back page, and then how to also create the sidebar, and then how to close this item. Here, if you scroll down on this page, we can also log out from this system, which restarts the whole application. So please, if you're new to my channel, kindly subscribe. If you're a regular visitor, please leave a comment and a thumbs up below. So if you want to follow with this exact design, I will be making the link available in the description so that you can download this same template I'll be giving out for free. Let's get into it. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be looking at advanced prototyping in Figma. So I'll be providing the file we'll be using for this project. Our design will not be from scratch, so I'll be making the link available in the description below. So after the download, you need to import your file to Figma. So I will be using the import button here. Then you select where this file has been downloaded. So mine is on my desktop. So I'm going to select a desktop, and then I'll look for a folder called freebies. Then I will select the ushopper one. So after clicking that, Figma will try to import this file to our project, and then it's going to take some time, but we'll stop here and resume back. So once the import is successful, all you need to do is you click on the done and then double click on this. So once you imported it and then it's successful, you're going to get this screen that displays the screens we'll be working on. So the first thing we want to do is I want to take this screen and then just give it some spacing because I want to create a duplicate here. So for me to do that, I will press Ctrl D to duplicate this screen. So I want to change this screen here, the color to white, but this is already white, so I will double click on this and make sure I change this to this color here. So I'll use the eyedropper. So you can press I to get the eyedropper. So I'll change this color, then I'll click on this and then make sure I'm changing the background layout to white here. So I have this. So now I want to resize this to item, but if we try doing this, the ushopper is a text. If I do this, you notice how the ushopper breaks down. So what we're going to do is I'll double click on this to get this ushopper, then right click, then make sure I use the outline stroke. So what I'll do is I am converting this text to a vector now. So this is no longer editable as a text. So if I hold Alt Shift and then try to drag this, you notice what happened here. So we have this screen. So we want to continue with the prototype. So I'm going to click on the prototype here. Then I'll select this item here. Then I will drag this here. So on click, please, we want to use a smart animate here. And then please set that to linear and then change this. If it's 300, change it to 500. So I'll close this. And then the next thing I want to do is, if you have a login, or in case your project has a login, you can then from here move the user to the login. But since I don't have any login, I'm going to select this and then drag this to this home page here. So I'll use the same thing, but we want to adjust something here on click. So we don't want the user to click this. We want this to be done automatically. So please, I'm going to click on this arrow and then change this from on click to after delay. Then we can set our delay here. By default is 800 milliseconds. Here it's 300, so please change it to 500. So click outside and also set this, click on this and then set this one to after a delay. So we're using the same delay for this. So having done that, we are done with the flash screen. Okay, once we're done with that, so the next thing here is we want to be able to allow the user to click on this and then automatically to change to this. So we want to allow the user to be able to like products or to add them to their favorite. For us to do that, I'm going to double click on this item. So when the user hover over this, we want to get this, and then when the user click on this, we want to get this. So to do that, I'm going to drag this item to this, but if you notice that this item, I can't drop it here. That is because this item here, they are grouped. So if you look at my wish list on the left hand side, this is a group. If I click on this, this is also a group. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert this to a frame. So we click back on the design and then click on this from group. Now on my right hand side, make sure you're changing this to frame. I'll do the same thing, click on this, convert this back to frame here. So now doing this, we can go ahead and click on the prototype again, double click on this and then drag this. You see, now I can point this. So here we don't want it when the user click. Once the user hover over this, while hovering, we want to just show this effect here. So now here, instead of navigate to, we want to open overlay. So this will open on top of the screen here. So but here we want to perform some settings here. We want this to be manual. If you put that at the center, it will appear on the center of the screen, manual. So you see it's going to appear on the exact position with the original item here. So after doing that, I think we're good to go. That should be manual. We don't want to add any background behind there. So and then this should be instant. If you want to animate it, then you can animate it. Then the next thing is when the user now click on this, because if they hover over this, they get this. If you now click on this, we want this here. So I want to point to this item here. So now on click, I want to get this item. Please, I have to drag this to touch this tiny item here. So please, I would remove this because I think I had one on drag here. Please take note of that. We're not using the on drag. I will cancel this and then click on this back. So I would have to hover over this again. Okay, good. So now I'm having the on click. So once the user click on this, we don't want to navigate to, we want to swap overlay. So I'm going to swap overlay. So at this point now, this one will replace this other one here. So once the user click on this again, we want to unlike the product. So to do that, I'm going to click on this and then drag this here. So now instead of on click, so here I will just tell the computer to close overlay. So what we just did, if you hover over this, you get this. So once you click on this, you get this, and then you click on this, it goes back to the main screen here. So I'm going to close that. So we're done with this section. So the next thing we want to do here is, if the user click on this product, we want them to be able to open this product here. So I will just double click on this and then drag this here. So on click, so I can use a smart animate for that, or you can just use a moving. For this, it's going to open this other product. So we can close that. Then we have a card option here. So here, if you notice, we have our navigational bar. So I want to link all the items here. So the cart goes to the cart here, and then still I'm using the moving on click. The wish list, I think we have a wish list here, which is this. I'll drag this wish list to this wish list here. Then the profile page, this I want to drag it to this page here, so I will hover over this and then drag it to this page here. So if you notice, we have a back button here. So what I'm going to do is I'll double click on this and then drag this, but this time instead of navigating to, I want to convert this to a back button. Just make sure you're converting that to a back button here. So please, I will make sure I'm selecting the right item, or I will click the two. So click on this two item and then group them, Ctrl G. so that if you click on this, we should be able to go back to wherever the user is coming from. So we're going to do the same thing for wish list. So click on wish list, the text, and also the icon. Please make sure you're selecting just this two items, the text and then this icon, Ctrl G, so that you can point to any direction here. I can point to this item here, but here if you come to navigate, to make sure you change it to back button here, so it always navigate to wherever the user is coming from. So the next thing we want to do here is we also want to make sure that we have two buttons here, add to cart. So when the user click on the add to cart, we want to add this item to their cart here. So I will click back on the prototype, and then if I click on add to cart, so I will drag this to this position here. So here I will make sure, please, I'm having an on click here. So let me see, on click, please, I'll remove the on drag and then remove the on click again. So I will hover over this and drag this to this position here. Please take note if you're having the same. So here I want this to be moving, and we don't want any smart animate. So we also have the wish list page here. So if the user clicks on the wish list here, we want to drag this to this position here. So the same on click, and we want to use the moving. So having done that, we have one last section here, which is this. So this is our slider. So I am going to use the Alt Shift A to create an auto layout here. So please, I'm going to double click on the first image. Please make sure you double click here. So once you double image 2, then we do the A. So now if you do that, we want to create an auto layout. From here now you can see, if you cannot remember the command, you press the auto layout here. So auto layout will be added. So after that, we're going to drag this here to fit in here. So it must not necessarily fit in properly, but just make sure it's somewhere at the end here. Then we're going back to our prototype. Then here I will use the horizontal scrolling for this. I want to be able to display the two products. After that, okay, we're done with this section. So we're coming back to this other section here. We have our card. So we want the user to be able to remove item to cart or move them to their wish list. So I have some navigations here. So here we want to look at the delete item here. So we can drag this. Please, I would select the design because I want to drag this to top here. So we can drag this to top here. So if we do this, I'll click back on the prototype. So if the user click on remove products, remove, we want to pop this up. So this is already a frame. That is why we're able to point to that directly. So once the user get this here, instead of navigate to, we're going to open an overlay. So on this open and overlay, we want some background behind this. Please, if this is not checked, we want this. We also want this, but the position here, we want it to be centered on our screen. So now we want this to be instant, no delay. And here I want it to be 50%. Okay, this is good. So now, once the user click on this delete now, we want to remove this item. But I want to show you a simple way to do that. Please, you're going to click on the card and then duplicate this screen, Ctrl D. So you see, I'm now here. I'm now here. So what we want to do now here is that if the user, okay, for this screen, I think I would just click on this and then this arrow going back and then delete this for this other one here. So if the user click on this delete, so please want to select the whole of this Once the user click on this, this is what I want to do. Here, our y is minus 60. We're going to change this to minus, let's say, 150. You see, this is out of the screen. So now I will delete this item here. Then we're going to try and push this other item. Please, you select them one after the other gently. You see, don't forget to select so select this one, and then this one here. So we can also select this here, and then this box, then this here. So I think once you select this, you can still hold shift and then push this item faster. I think I did not select one item there, so but I will manually align that here. So this item was not selected, so I can just push that item here. Yes, so let's align that here. So we have our items here. So now when we perform the delete, when the user click on this delete here, so double click till you get the delete. I want to drag this. I'll click the prototype. So I want to drag the arrow. So please, I want to drag this arrow from here to this section here. But the settings now will be smart animate. And then here, let's see, okay, smart animate, that is good, ease out. So we're done with the delete. So what that means is that if you click on delete, this item here goes to the top and then give us this screen here, just giving it's that deleting feeling to just disappear from the screen with animations. So I think we're done. The same thing with the move to wish list. So I would double click on move to wish list here, double click, and then we also want to pop this up if the user click on move to wish list. So once the user clicks on that, please, you notice mine is having an on drag here. So please, we're going to delete this too, and then redo that step again. Drag this and point to this open overlay. You see all the settings has been made here. So we want it the same to open an overlay. So but once the user click on move to wish list here, we just want to drag this item here to this wish list here. You just want to display this wish list. So now, as you can see, you can perform this process for the other project, other items here, not project, other items here. So but we're just doing the illustration for this. So let's come back to this section and see. Okay, we have our navigational bar here again. So the navigation bar, the home on this page should take us to this home page, and then the card, please, I'll make sure I'm selecting the group card here. Okay, they are not grouped, so I will select this, hold shift and select this, then Ctrl G. Then please, you can drag this card, should take me back to the card page here. Then our wish list, we're on the wish list. Then profile should take me to profile page here. So here, please, we're going to check those animation we did, the recent prototype. Please, I want moving. So for this too, that's this, please, let's check that. We want a moving, not a smart animate. So I would choose a moving. The home also, we click on the home and then we change this to moving. Okay, good. So for our notification, we have the notification item here on the home page. So if you click on that and we drag this here, we should bring us back to the notification here. So please, we also want a smart animate. We don't want a smart animate, we want a moving. Then on the profile page, we also have our navigation here, which we won't be doing much. I will double click on the home, and then the home should take us back to the home page here. So you can even use a move out here. Move out, you're going back to the home page. Then the cart page, please, we're also going to group this to item by holding shift Ctrl G. Then I'm going to drag this to the card page. This is our card page, I think the biggest page here. So I think I would use the move in here, since we don't know if it's the first page or the last page. Then my wish list, will go back to my wish list here. Then profile, we're already on profile here. So please, I want us to quickly do something for the size. So let's see, for the size, please, I'll drag this and drop this here. So for the size, if you notice here, we have a size. So we want it when the user click on size, they should be able to just pick that size they want. So but we're going to delete this done button, so that done. So let's adjust this, click on this, and then let's adjust this a little here. So if the user click on size, maybe small, medium, it should be want to change the size. So one thing I want to do is I want this to be active with the small button here, this small size. Control D, we drag it outside here. So we're going to change this D to pink. That's the size here. I will change that to pink here. So I'll pick this color using the eyedropper. Let's see if I think I did not pick that correctly, so I'll just use this to pick. So we're changing the S to white. So now please make sure you select this, and let's convert this to a frame. While you're on design, please make sure you're on design. We convert this to frame. So this is now a frame. So if the user click on this, let's go back to prototype, click on this here. What I want to do here is I want to open an overlay, and then we want it to be on the same exact position, open overlay here. So please, if the user click outside, we want to change this. We want to be able to close the screen because we don't have the button done here. So the user clicks outside, we should close it after selecting their size. So I'm going to close that. Let's see, we want this movement to be instant. We want that to be instant, no animation. So that's it. So if you want to do that for the other ones, you just have to duplicate it and then repeat the same steps for the other ones. So you can create a container for the quantity and also do the same thing here. Then we have a logout. That should be for our logout screen. Okay, it's here. So if the user clicks on logout, we want this to pop up on the screen. But this time now, I will want this to open overlay, and then we want this at the center of the screen. Okay, so we want this to also be instant. So if the user click on cancel, the word cancel should bring us back here. But if the user clicks on logout, we want to take the user back to this first screen here. So more like it's going to start the whole process. So if you have a login page, you can redirect the user back to the login page. So I'm going to do this. Click on this section, logout. So we want to restart the app here. So please, I have to drag to this first screen here. So if the user logs out. So I think we're almost done with the prototype. And then if the user places an order, please you can move that. If you have an order success page, you can move that there. So I want us to add one last thing before we end this tutorial. So I'm going to quickly do that. So we need when the user click on this section, we want to get a sidebar here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to duplicate this profile here. Control D, I'll duplicate the profile. So please, any animation that is linked to this profile will be deleted. So let's click on prototype and let's do this. We're going to delete this, delete this. Make sure you click outside to see the prototype. So now we want to delete the navigation bar. Okay, we want to leave this. So we are going to click on the profile here and then try to adjust this here. Let's adjust this. Then we're going to click on this. Please, I can adjust this. To do this better, you just click on design. So we're just quickly doing this. So I'll just do this here and then double click on our text inside and increase this. So I am going to do this here. So let's just rename this to navbar. Yeah, so this is our navbar. So here, let me explain what we want to do. We'll just drag this and bring this here. So if the user click on this image, we want this to slide in. So I'm going to click on the lady here. Let's go back to prototype and then we're going to drag this here. We want to open an overlay. So you check all of this. After checking this, yes, we want this to be instant, and we need to check some of the settings. Please, I have to click back on that again. This, okay, we have this. So please, let's scroll down. Let's see the moving here. Good. Please, I'm using moving, but I'm changing the direction to this. I think that's the best. So now here, please, we're not working with the center. We want this to be at the left hand side. We want it to be coming from the left. So this should be at the top left here or bottom left. This works perfect. So after having all these designs, the next thing we want to do is we want to view our prototype. So we're going to set the device here. So please, you have to set that to iPhone 13 mini, except if you're using a different template. So initially this is black. You can change it to any color. That's the background. So what I want us to do is I want to check our flow to see where our first flow is starting from, because it's very, very important. So please, you see where my flow is starting. Please, if you're having your flow here, it's good that we click on this and then delete the flow here. So I'm going to delete this flow, just the minus, you see floating point here. So what we want to do here is we want to add a flow to this. So please, this should be my flow 1. This will be my flow 1. So please make sure this is your starting point here. So if this is my starting point here, just make sure this is your starting point. And to do that, let me delete that again. You're going to click on this item and then click on the plus here, flow 1. So in case you have other flows, you can then click on this. That's if you can't make this the first flow, you can click on this screen and then use the presentation button here. So this is how our animation is going to look like, and then open this page. So I think let's try the delete button first. So let's go to card and then let's try to remove an item here. Remove an item. You notice how it goes up. So from here, let's click on the back button here. You see it comes back here because we're going back. So we're going to fix this here so that once you click on the back button, so now we want to fix the back button here. So if the user click on the back button here, please let's click on the prototype. We want to delete this. Make sure you're clicking on the line of the prototype, and then we can set this instead of back, we can navigate to. So you have to provide where you're navigating to. So where is this taking us? It's taking us back to the home page here. So but if you can't select that, so I will do this, I'll delete this, and then you have to select the back button here and then drag it to the home page here. This is our home screen. That's this iPhone here. That's our home screen here. So you can do that. So let's perform the delete once more and see. So let's go to our card and then let's click on remove. Let's delete this. You see it's gone. So if we click on the back here, so now we can click back here. Let's check in this item here. Let's try to do this. We have this. Let's go back. add to back. Yeah, so from here we can go back to where we're coming from. So you see, this will take me back to this home page here. So we can click on the wish list here. Let's see, and then if I click back, it's going to take me back to where I'm coming from. So here, if you notice, we have one page on this. Let's go back here. So the back here, it's not working, so you have to do the same thing for that. So I will check this item here, the back button, double click, and then drag it back to the home page here. So but this time we're using this as a back button. So if we come here and then we try to click this takes us back to the home page. So wish list should bring us here, profile should bring us here. And then one last item we want to check is this lady here. Let's click on that. You see we have our sweet transition. If you click outside here, and then this automatically goes back. So let's check if we have one or two items we want to correct. For now, please, you can go through that with the steps we have here. You should be able to perform prototyping for any device that you have.